making rhubarb puff, very similar to a cobbler. This recipe was given to me by Charlene John, so stick around and you'll see how to make this really, really yummy dish. Gather your rhubarb and your strawberries, wash them, and then chop them. Also, preheat your oven to 450 degrees. So you can see I have the rhubarb chopped and I have the strawberries chopped. They're all chopped, just rough chopped, and I am not using any of the tops. Some of the tops had a little bit of leaf on them, and in case you're not aware, the leaf is poisonous. So I'm taking my dish and I'm spraying it with Pam. In this case, we're using about 2 cups of rhubarb. And because the strawberries are cut large, I'm going to use 2.5 to 3 cups. The original recipe called for frozen strawberries. That's about 2.5 cups of fresh strawberries. And this is 1.25 cup of sugar. And I believe that I'm going to cut that down and use about 3/4 cup of sugar. I'll taste the rhubarb to see if that's going to be sweet enough. I'm going to just a tiny bit more. So this would be actually 3/4 as I look at the amount of sugar left in my cup. This will go into my oven and it will be cooking until it gets hot and bubbly. Last time I made this, it took about 20 minutes. With the extra rhubarb, I'm going to freeze it. Believe it or not, it freezes great. So you can put it in your freezer for the next time that you're making something with rhubarb. This is how I froze my rhubarb. I put the number of cups and labeled it. The fruit is bubbly hot, so I've got my flour, salt, and baking powder. Now with Charlene's recipe, the biscuits were thicker than I wanted because the fruit filling is so delicious that I wanted to taste the fruit more than the biscuit topping. To stir that up, now I'm adding oil and plant-based milk. You don't want to over stir this mixture because you want the biscuit topping to be nice and tender. So you can see it's forming a little ball, and that's going to be just perfect. I'm wanting to get 9 biscuits for on top of the fruit. By cutting it, that will help me even it out. You can see the fruit is bubbly hot, and now I'm taking the biscuits and I'm putting a little indentation in the middle of each one of them. Next, take some cinnamon and sugar and sprinkle it on top of the biscuits. Next thing we do is take 2 tablespoons of vegan butter, and we want to make 9 little cubes. We're just sticking the butter in the middle. It's time to pop it in the oven for another 20 to 25 minutes. Here it is, just out of the oven. You can see it's still bubbly hot, so I will wait a few minutes before serving. This is how I would serve it. Scoop one of the biscuits out. Go back for the rest of the fruit filling. Drizzle it along the side. It's a little bit hot, but I'd be serving it that hot. That's what it looks like. Still very hot, but I like it that way. It's got an excellent crunch at the top of it and that smooth, sweet filling. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.